Welcome to the TIMFD podcast. Today is my favorite day, and this is where we learn how to make the most of each day, even when life shows up with those unexpected plot twists we didn't see coming. If this episode encourages you, would you please take a second to like, share, and comment? Now, let's find out how today can be our favorite day.
Hey, everybody. Glad that you're with us, and today we have some special people. So we have Norman and Cynda Behymer, and I'm so much trying to get that last name down, but we did it. And
Absolutely.
So the reason why we have them here today is because you guys, for one, are special people in our lives, but secondly, you have unique lives, and to me that makes it kind of cool. So what I'd like to do is, first of all, tell me a little bit about your history as you first. Let's do that. You've been in ministry a long time, so I want to kind of hit that first because both you guys have been in ministry a long time. So let's go with that, and then you're gonna know why I'm asking this in just a little bit. So go ahead.
Well, I grew up in the church, but at age 17, at a Wednesday night service at church, don't remember a thing about what went on, don't remember what the preacher preached, but at the end of it, I made a promise to God. And literally the words were, God, whatever you want me to do this week, I promise you I will do it.
Wow.
And when I said that, I was, really finishing up high school. And that week, I got a call from a guy I didn't really know. Said, "Would you consider helping this church that's a small church on the outside of Oklahoma City? Would you consider doing it?" And I went, and I said, "Okay." And from that moment on, God has just literally opened door after door, because that prayer at 17 is still in effect today. Whatever God wants me to do this week, I promise him I will do it. And so that's kind of how ministry started for me. I was stupid as dirt. I mean, just dumb.
18, that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. And a church in Clinton, Oklahoma called me up, and my parents, I was 17 at that moment. I actually registered for the draft in Clinton, Oklahoma. And my parents went with me for the interview, and they asked me if I played football. I said no, and that city, football was big. And so then I said, but I am ranked in the nation in table tennis. So I guess table tennis wasn't football, but at least got my foot in the door.
It was some sort of sport.
It was some sort of sport. But I served there for 13 months, loved it there, went back to my home church. Their minister of music left. They asked me to be interim. I did that. From there, I went to Council Road Baptist Church. I remember sitting outside in nighttime looking at this church that I knew nobody. And I got there early. I'm always early. And I prayed, Lord, whatever you want me to do this week, I promise you I'll do it. And I went there, planned on staying 8 months, and I've stayed 50 years.
Yes, so you've been in ministry at that church for 52 years?
That's correct.
52 years, which, just so you know, is very unusual. So, and that tells a lot about you as a person, and what God's done. And your I will do what you want me to do this week is the big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to Cynda real quick. Cynda, you have a long time ministry background, so please explain that to us really quick.
Well, just to kind of back up, my dad was in the military, so we moved around every 2 years or so. And he retired when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
So we moved to Oklahoma City, and we started attending Council Road Baptist Church.
Okay.
But up until that time, my mom knew from probably I was 2 or 3 years old, she noticed that I loved the piano.
And you do have a gift in that area. So yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she recognized that, and I'm so thankful that she recognized that and said, okay, we're going to invest in this.
Wow.
And so from that moment on, I was always involved in music, mostly piano, but also vocally. I had an ear. So that's how I met Norman when we moved to Oklahoma City, being a part of the church that he was a part of. But then that's also where I met David.
Yes. And now that's why I want to stop right there.
Okay.
So now that's why I was hoping you'd get there. All right. Now here's the interesting part. You're going to hear stories of these two. Yeah. And unfortunately for both of you, and also fortunate in the end run of this, is that you have a widower and a widow
Yes.
here. but also you have two people that have been doing ministry for a long time. And now what I'd like to do is kind of get into the story. So David is someone I knew.
Yes.
Your husband for
Yes.
many years, I knew. And so you met David there, and you were one of the pastors there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the wild part. Okay, so go. Now you've met David, let's say, at met him and David at
Yes.
this place.
Well, David and I got married in the church.
Okay.
Actually, Norman and his wife Denise sang at our wedding.
There we go. I love that.
Yeah. And my mom was Norman's secretary.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So a total connection here.
Total
Wow.
connection. We were very involved in the music, which he was over, and the youth ministry and things like that. But David and I felt a calling into ministry, and in 1986 we made the move to Florida,
Yes.
and that's where we got involved in a church ministry. Met some of the pastors there, and they also recognized the calling of God on our lives, and we were a part of church planting
Some pretty large
with them.
church plants
Yes.
too. Yes.
Yes. And so we did 3 together.
Yes.
And just started our family here, worked in the ministry, was very involved in the worship arts productions ministries here. In fact, the first Christmas production I ever did, our church didn't have a budget to buy Christmas cantata books.
Okay.
So we reached out to Norman and said, can we borrow some Christmas books? So throughout the years, he was always that
Helping you guys.
support for us,
Yeah, that's awesome.
you know?
That's great. I love that.
Yeah,
So-
one of the things that my co-teacher currently at church brought David to church as a 10th grader,
Oh my goodness.
and David got saved at church, got radically saved at our church.
Wow.
And the guy that brought David church, I still teach with at Council Road. So the connection is
It's unbelievable.
It's
Best friends.
So here's the wild part. So you were married to Denise for how long?
50 years.
50 years. So you've told me, you said you went from, can you talk about that real quick? You went from voices in
Yeah.
your life. So explain that really quick to me.
Well, I got married right when I was 18,
Okay.
and dated Denise for a couple years, so it wasn't we knew each other.
Sure.
And so I was living at home in my freshman year at college, and then so my mom was on my voice the day before I got married, the day I got married, and then Denise was my voice from that day
And
forward.
can you explain that voice?
Yeah,
to me?
that voice. I never really understood. I knew how important a wife's voice is, because it's a partnership. It's
is.
not anything less.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I became a widower, I didn't have that voice anymore.
It was gone.
It was worse than gone. It was like there was never a voice at that moment to me.
Wow.
And I was I felt vulnerable. I felt exposed.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I said, I thought, I wonder how that was received.
Yeah, I could see that.
When somebody, a guy or a woman would talk to me, I was suspect. Why
Yeah.
were they talking to me?
Yeah.
And I've never been like that. I've always trusted people.
Yes.
And so that was scary. I'm telling you, Dave, that was truly a scary point. Then I got to say this. So when David died,
Yes.
Cynda's husband died, my coworker came to Tampa and his wife and spoke there. Clay asked me,
That's right. That's right. He was one of the speakers.
would you like to write something for David's service? I said, absolutely, I would. So I went and gave it to Clay and read it. So that voice, that moment was done, because Denise died 6 months after David died. And so there was a lot going on. But David died in September, and in October, the next month, on one day, just one day, the Lord said, call Cynda and see how she's doing.
Yeah.
And I blew that off. I said, blew it off.
So you forgot about the Lord, whatever you want me to do. Then.
Yeah, I'm not the sharpest
I got it,
guy.
me too.
I'm not the sharpest pencil, okay? And so not only did I ignore it, then, Dave, I ignored it a second time. The Lord said, call Cynda and ask her how she's doing. Third time that got on that, just this one day, I said, okay, Lord, I'll call her.
It's time to do that.
And so I called her. She and I talked for 5 minutes. That was it. And when we hung up, I said out loud to myself, she just put on a good face for me.
Yeah,
So I said,
yeah, I get that.
when Denise died, and I've been in all the people in church, I've done a lot of funerals, a lot of weddings, a lot of those things, and I thought, who do I talk to? I mean, who do I go to? And
Who understands this?
who understands it?
Yeah.
And immediately the Lord said, call Cynda, see how she's doing and see how her children are doing. Because it was coming up to the first Easter after David died and Denise died. And had the Lord not, and this is what blows my mind, had the Lord not 3 times in one day asked me to do that, and being obedient at that moment, finally, I don't know what would have happened to that question. I asked myself, who do I call? Because the very first thought was, call Cynda. And that October date before Denise died, God knew what my future was going to look like, and made a connection there immediately. So I can say all kinds of things. It just blows me.
He's an omniscient God, knows everything, and knows what's gone in the past and what's going to happen in the future and what's happened now. So that's wild. So I love that. So that's where we kind of get to. So you're in ministry, you're doing stuff with David, you're getting stuff from Norman, Denise, you're doing all that. You guys have been in ministry a long time. Dave was now playing again, and then suddenly passed away.
Yes.
And where were you? So here he is in this. Where were you in that? What happened with you, with your mind at that time and your heart? What were you dealing with, and how?
Complete shock.
Okay.
Complete shock.
It was shock.
Yeah, because it was completely unexpected.
Yes, it was.
It's not something, I mean, you watch movies, you hear of other people's stories, but until you actually go through it personally, you don't know what not only your heart, but your mind and your body. It was just like maybe a week or 2 after David had passed away, and the kids were with me, and they said, Mom, let's go out, because we had stayed in the house and everything. And they said, let's go out and get something to eat. Let's just get some fresh air. And I remember us going to this little restaurant on purpose, because I just didn't want to see people I knew yet. I just wasn't ready for that yet. And we got in there and we were starting to order our food, and I felt heart palpitations. I was dizzy. My arms were going numb.
Isn't it amazing
and
how
that's
that happens?
never. And I, tried to act like I was okay, because I thought, okay, is this anxiety or whatever? And I had them take me to the doctor, because I thought I was having a heart attack.
There we go. And so you went through all that.
Your body just goes through all kinds of things. Plus you're not even thinking about, what am I going to do when people leave? I'm going to be alone in the house. The silence. The silence was so thick. The plans that we had, the conversations.
Because you guys were already back. I mean, the joke here was, because you guys came out of here to go to the other church. I forgot the church's name.
The Bridge Family Church.
And so I was connected with it through social media. So I was getting to see your guys, what you guys were doing. And
I know.
It was so cool to watch David back in there. It was awesome.
He was back in the ministry. He was loving it, because he was created for that.
And this church was, we were all laughing, going, there he is, look at that. It was great to see him back on doing that stuff.
It was.
And then it was gone, and then you had to deal with all this. Mm-hmm. And so you and Norm end up talking, obviously, because he said he was calling you up.
He called, and it's funny, because cards have always been, oh, thank you for the card.
Yeah.
But when I got, and I still have the cards in a basket, cards and phone calls and people checking on you. You don't realize how important that
Big.
is
Absolutely.
Big deal.
until you go through something like that. And so I was getting phone calls from people, and I obviously had his name in my his name in my phone. So when he called, I just remember going, "Oh, Norman's calling,"
Yes.
because we always admired and respected him and Denise,
Absolutely.
and, just not wanting to obviously be a Debbie Downer, but really appreciating when people do check up on
Yes.
you, because some people disappear because
Yes.
they
Well,
go
they just
on with
disappear.
life.
They can't. Well, for one,
Of
a lot of them
course.
can't handle it.
That's
Right.
That's
Just
exactly
right.
right.
Yes. And that's taught me something
Yes.
about, I've always wanted to care for people and be mindful of that, but it's completely different when you're on the other side
Yes, ma'am.
looking in a
Yes,
direction.
yes,
So, yeah, and I understand him feeling really weird about calling me, because when you're in full-time church ministry, you don't call the opposite sex.
No.
You have someone else call, or you have your wife or
You
your
got it.
husband
Yep.
call.
Yep.
So just, at the time, obviously, we were just like, thank you for calling
Yes.
and checking up. And then when he called about Easter, it was really or not called, you had private messaged me on Facebook.
Got it.
So he could have texted me, but
Yes.
it still was, it was done properly. And Easter, and I've always celebrated Easter
Yes.
my whole entire life. Easter was even bigger for me than Christmas.
Yes.
But the word resurrection was so powerful for me, because that Easter, I was in a different place. I was in a different mindset position, and saying, God, I thank you for the cross.
Yes.
I thank you for resurrection, because I know where David is.
Yes.
I know I'm going to see him
Yep.
again. I know he's completely healed,
That's right.
and he's rooting us on. So when he messaged me, I understood. I was like, no, I get it. And we were both so in this fresh state of grieving, but fresh state of understanding God and sensing his presence. I mean, I don't want to talk
No.
for you, but
No.
I felt God all around me and everything, and every phone call I got and every phone call I had to make. Some of the hardest phone calls, explaining to people that I don't know on credit cards, like my husband just passed away, and then breaking down and
trying
crying.
to figure out all that stuff.
All of that,
Yeah.
but God was there, and it
You know,
was,
the word resurrection that she said, I think this is worth noting. Daily, I thank the Lord for the cross. I also thank him for the resurrection, because that is his power was sin, death, and the grave. That's why I know we have something to celebrate. The word resurrection, I couldn't even say the word, Dave. In fact, 2 weeks after Denise died, people would say, oh, I know that this is a really hard time for you, but could you do this service for us? And I said, you bet. And then, what are you going to talk about in that kind of service? The resurrection. And I remember vividly a big service, and I was reading scripture, and I came at the word, and it wouldn't come out. I couldn't make it come out of my mouth. And I felt like I was up there for a minute. It's probably, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 seconds. I just stood there and then asked the Lord to give me the strength to say the word. So when we say resurrection, people hear that. It is the power of God. It's the power of our hope.
Yes.
Because he's conquered the grave. And you would think that would be something so joyous to say. And at the time, it was the hardest thing I could say. So Cynda's really right about that. And I want to know how her children, because her children, 4 children, were coming up to their first Easter, and my 2 boys were coming up, and I want to know how were her kids doing. That was another big reason why I called her. I thought, how's your family doing with this?
Because it's hard. It's hard on the whole family to go through a loss like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. So then you guys had some talking going on, and I remember talking to you, and we actually did a podcast, by the way. She's done a different one,
Yes.
so I'll put that on the link too. But a podcast to get ready for a women's conference that we had here.
Yes.
And you were the main speaker. And
Yes,
so it was
I
kind of
know.
cool to have you doing that. And you were ready. By then you went, I'm ready.
Mhm.
I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
To speak
Mhm.
in a public setting and do this with a conference. And I remember seeing you and I go, wow, you look different and you looked really good. And I went, okay, what's going on here? I mean, I was just kind of
A
going,
lot
okay.
of people have said that.
Yeah, I said, what's going on here? And then you said, well,
Like, I looked that
something's
bad before.
happening. I was going, something's happening, and you were talking about him.
Mhm.
And I went, oh, wow, okay. I was excited.
Yes,
And
you
Tanya
were.
was
Thank
excited too,
you. I
because the
know.
loss of that, it was so devastating. And to see something that you guys already knew each other, there was a connection already there. And it was all about Jesus, and which makes it a lot more enjoyable,
Yes.
right?
Oh my
Yes.
So
gosh,
how did you
yes.
guys work this? Because long time ministry.
Yeah.
A ton of people knew who you were and know who you are.
Yes.
And then you have kids. How is that working? Because I'm sure, a major challenge just because of human beings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Well, one thing's I'll do it, and
Yeah.
of course she's smarter than I. So I'm
You're a smart guy saying that.
I'm gonna let her. She's pretty spunky. So no, my kryptonite. I mentioned this to
I
you.
remember that
So my
yesterday, yeah.
kryptonite in my life, which she actually asked me, Cynda asked me during our time of really catching up with each other and reconnecting a little bit. She asked me, Norman, what's your kryptonite? And I'd never been asked that before, and it paused me. I mean, and then 10 seconds later, it's like the Lord said, you know what it is? It's trust. And so, like, Dave, if I don't trust you, then what do I do? If you don't trust me, what do you do with me? Trust is a core value.
thing.
It is. Trust with the Lord, trust
right.
in relationships. Well, I knew, because of our history 4 decades earlier,
Yes.
that I could trust her family.
Yeah.
And Cynda was very trustworthy. I knew that. I used to brag on David and Cynda going to the East Coast from our church and starting churches. I mean, I said that probably 100 times in my life. I'm just so proud of them.
Yes.
And so
Had a big impact.
I knew them. And so trust. And that's, how did we start this thing?
Yeah.
That's the word that it started. She knew that we were trustworthy people.
Good.
Okay.
And that's it to me. That was it, because being in ministry as long as you've been in the same church, and everybody knows you, it's going to have to take a certain person that suddenly would be brought into that
Absolutely.
fold and be married to you, because everyone knows Denise. And that's why I went, when you guys were talking about that, and I went, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of another person that could actually kind of
No.
be in that situation with you. I mean,
No, I could tell you right now, you ask, if there wasn't trust, this would not be
No,
happen.
no.
Would not have happened. And I don't know what would have happened past that
for you, yeah.
at all. But so me trusting her and her voice. Remember, I'm going back
That's her-
when
go
we
back to
were
the voice.
talking, and I would hear her voice. It was peaceful, and it caught my attention. And I think that was God, because, you don't have to pay attention to people, but she caught my attention. So
yes.
it was really a beautiful thing, and the trust factor was never in question.
Okay, I got to ask the question. So she asked that to you. What's your kryptonite?
What's my kryptonite? My
Yes.
kryptonite is also trust.
Trust. Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
But I think it as a female, it's different, but it's very, very important.
Well,
I
tell
have
me,
to.
for a female, why would it be different? Tell
Well,
me.
because
Because you
I
got males
think
that watch this and go, what are you talking about?
Well,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I
yeah.
think I felt safe with him.
Okay.
So I think for me, it's being safe.
Okay.
So I have to trust someone that I can, and I think, I've been through different experiences in
Yes.
my life
Yes.
personally, also being in ministry. Unfortunately, you have to guard,
You do.
you have to
You
love
do.
all people,
That's right.
but you have to have good, wise boundaries.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't just tell somebody
No,
something and
you can't.
you know so I think with me feeling very safe having the conversation with him, because as far as I was concerned, I was never going to get remarried. I wasn't going to ever date, so that wasn't even in my radar. Like, what would that look like? I didn't even ask
Because
myself that.
how long were you guys married?
43
So
years.
see, you're
Mhm.
talking what,
Yeah.
95 years between the two of you?
Yeah.
No, 90 years is 40 and or 43 and 50. So 93 years. That's a lot of trust
Yeah.
that was built up with people.
Absolutely.
And now you're having to try to
We
get
look
that
good for
trust.
93.
Yeah, you guys look awesome. Look awesome, man. But you
But-
trust and safety.
And safe. So
Yeah.
that safety, I felt safe to talk to a man on the phone. I
Okay,
know this
very
sounds,
good.
I know it sounds wild,
No, I
but
get
you're
it.
in a weird season and you're doing, like I hadn't talked to a man on the phone unless I was working or it was
Yes.
job related or
Yes.
something. I don't even coach men,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
So I felt like he was family, to be honest with you. And that trust factor from decades ago
Huge.
was super, super important
So,
to me.
something else we haven't said. Her parents live 9 minutes from me in Oklahoma City. 9 minutes. She lives in Florida. Her parents live 9 minutes in Oklahoma City from me. Also, her parents were my boys' Sunday school teachers.
Wow.
Okay. And her mom, as she said, was my secretary. She was also one of my pianists. So, there's something grounding
Yeah.
about that.
I could see that.
So that's
very important.
That's where we started. Now our children, my oldest son, Cynda taught as a 9 or 10-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
In choir at our church. Jonathan remembers Cynda very well. So Jonathan actually embraced it in a healthy way for his dad.
Yes.
Okay. Jeffrey probably missed the next. I think for Jeffrey, he thought the next decade with his mom was going to be very special,
Yes.
and so that got eradicated. Okay,
And now there's a whole issue of that. Yeah.
But both of them have seen. Cynda and I've said this. We are going to be who God called us to be.
Yes.
We're not forceful. We're not ugly. We're not anything like that. I love her kids. I think our kids are, they're funny. They're smart. Okay. Gifted.
Yeah, they're very smart.
All of that.
Yeah.
And
David talked about that all the time.
well, they are. They're, and so, and my boys own their own businesses. They're very that way. So they've started catching up with us.
Okay.
And all we can do, Dave, is what Christ did for us. He loved us like we are.
Yep.
And so I'm going to allow my boys to love Cynda like she is. And I think Cinda's allowing the same thing for me. And it's not been perfect, but it's been a beautiful thing to watch what God's done.
But what I want to do with you guys, this down the line, we're not going to do that here, but I'd like to talk more about how you blend these families after these many years of successful marriage, and then dealing with the death of a spouse and then coming back. And so I believe that's something that you guys could talk more about on. But what I want to do is, because I'm noticing the time already. So what I would like to do, though, from there, when did you guys get married? When did that happen?
February 1st.
February 1st.
Yes.
Well, you remembered that. There you go, pointing up. Yeah, you can remember that. So February 1st, and that's a good, easy thing for a man to remember too.
Yes.
So it makes it kind of nice.
Don't give away our trade secrets, please.
I know a guy.
I already knew.
I know a family where the father, this is a grandfather, married his wife on his birthday. The son married his wife on his birthday, and all the sons that have gotten married in that family marry on their birthday.
That's so.
They'll never forget. That's the funny.
better
That's the
not.
joke. That's the joke.
So funny.
But they do that, and they've been very successful in that. So, but what I'd like to do is talk about something that you have brought up to me. Matter of fact, this book right here is called Seasons. I have it here. You're not going to be able to see it here, but we'll put all the information about it. But Seasons, this is your brand new book.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And I got a copy, and I'm special enough that she wrote it. So I'm very happy about that. But seasons. What I'd like you to do is tell me a little bit about seasons and how you even came to this, writing this book. And by the way, Norman is writing a book right now, so we're going to talk about that as well. But I'd like to get to this first, and then we'll talk about yours. So let's go over seasons. Tell me why the name, because it's an unusual name. I love the artwork of this. It's so simple.
My son.
Man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he did it. Does he have a
did
company? Does he do this?
Yes, he does.
What's the company's name?
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Yes.
Okay. So Godspeed. Anybody's gonna think about writing books and stuff.
Oh, but he doesn't do. He did the book for me. He does
Right.
designing and other things.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
but
the
not
designing.
book designs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so but
just a
designing.
mama thing he did for me.
So he doesn't do book designs. Never mind.
Yeah, he'll go, Mom.
He does. He
Yeah.
does design.
Yes,
So,
yes.
But this is really cool. He did a great job. So,
Thank you.
It says seasons. What if every season of your life was growing something new in you?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, my grandparents had a farm. Start from the beginning.
Yeah, please.
A southwestern Oklahoma, and when my dad would get transferred to a new state or new base or whatever, we'd always have a transition spot where we go to Meemaw and Peepaw's farm in between, and that's kind of where I got. It was my constant in life because things changed. The cities, the states, the climates, everything changed. My friends. But that was constant in my life. And it was constant as far as family, faith, the farmhouse, the barn, all of that. So I think that that was a gift. But also my grandparents, just through, I would chop cotton with my
Did you really?
grandfather. Yeah, I
Wow.
just one summer, but I say I
Hey,
did
at least
it.
you did it. At
But
least
he
you
would
did it.
teach me how to use the tools, the hoe, and how to use the tools. And what you do is you dig up the ground and you pull out the weeds that are trying to suffocate the main plant, and you get them out by the root. And he showed me how to do that. And just throughout life, it applied to my life. Like what is the root of this, rather than just chopping it off because it's going to grow right back up again. My grandmother with her garden, would just know in the place where the most sun or where they'd get more water, or they need more shade, or this is the season you plant this to get a good harvest. And she'd talk about the weeds and how the weeds to me look like beautiful flowers. You're going to cut, they're beautiful, but they were weeds. They were suffocating again, the main plant. And just the different, there's so many things that they taught me about pausing, like crop rotation, where my grandfather would allow a part of his acreage to rest. And you kind of think this is all of this, you want to use everything you have. And I identified that in my life. I want to use everything that I have as much as I possibly can. When God goes, no, you need Sabbath time.
Yes.
You need to rest. If you continue to do this, the soil of your soul is not going to be healthy. And so just looking at wintertime, God parallels. He taught us things all in his word
Yes.
with metaphors and stories. And so in nature, he gave us examples of nature to parallel what's going on supernaturally inside of us in our soul. So wintertime, when David passed away, I was in a winter season. I identified it as a winter season. It not only my life looked dead because it had ended. All the plans had died, all the dreams, the hopes, it stopped. It was quiet in my house. I was very isolated, a lot of times by my
By
own
yourself,
doing,
yep. Mhm.
but a lot of isolation. And sometimes we just have to think, okay, I'm in this winter season. What does winter mean? Winter means resting. Wintertime is when what is happening underneath the ground, everything on top looks like it's dead. It's quiet. There's no leaves. I have 2 trees in my front yard that every winter I go, I don't think they're going to come back to life again. But what we don't see is underneath the ground is where that activity is happening even more during wintertime than it is in the springtime. So there's things happening in the invisible that are preparing us for what we see later. So God is preparing you for new life, new beginnings, new growth in spring. So just being able to understand that with every season, what does this mean in nature? What is really happening? Helped me to be present and embrace the season that I was in. A lot of times we just don't want to be in winter.
Yeah.
Or summertime. Summertime sometimes is chaotic. The rhythms are off,
Yes, it
you
is.
know. It just there's just so much there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
We can't wait. I mean, I couldn't wait till my kids got out of school for summer, and then at the end I was like, I'm kind of just ready
Send
for
them
a
back.
schedule.
Yeah.
I want a schedule, but just being able to go, you know what, it's okay if it's chaos right now. It's okay if it's going, because it's okay if the dishes are still in the sink. I need to be present and enjoy this season in my life. So it talks about all the different seasons,
Okay.
and it gives personal stories that I've gone through that I can see, and that I've worked with a lot of my clients with when I'm talking to them, and I go, listen, if you could identify what season that you're in right now, winter, spring, summer, or fall, which one resonates with you the most? And then we dig into what that looks like and what does God do during that season? And then what's coming up next?
And that's in this book. That's what you do in this
It's
book.
all in that book.
Okay. Well, that's so so I would say then that's for any human being that you've done this with women, obviously, but could a
Yes.
man read this
Personally,
book
a man can absolutely read it.
and look at his seasons and see where he's
Yes.
at in the seasons, and then what can he
Absolutely.
do to grow in that season, and then
Yes.
also maybe rest in whatever that season may
Yeah.
be.
I've even worked with people that have a business, and I'll say, what season is your business in?
Okay, can you explain that a little bit? Go through
Well,
that.
let's
me
just
that.
say that somebody just goes, there's so much going on, and I don't even know the first thing to do. And I'll go, okay, well, what season again? And I don't ask this all the time, but what season would you resonate? What picture is this? Well, I think it's summer. Okay, well, what do you do in summer? Because we've got fall coming up real soon. What does
Yes.
fall look
Yes.
like? Fall looks like letting go.
Yes.
What do you need to let go of?
Okay.
What do you need? What do you need to keep? What is working well? What is
Yeah.
not working well?
Good.
Just pruning. We need to prune back. Maybe you need to prune back right now. If you're overwhelmed, when they use the word, oh, I'm overwhelmed right now. How can we manage this? How can you flourish? Because when you're overwhelmed, creativity goes out the
Goes.
window. I mean, your peace and your joy. I know that when I'm overwhelmed, I'm listening to people, but my mind is going 1,000 miles on thinking of other things, and just really helping them to go, okay, I'm in this season right now, but how can I do it the most healthy way? We just cleaned out the front of my house, and it was the front landscape. And there's parts that had overgrown. There's, things that had started taking over. And you look at it and it's all green and it's all growing and it's all beautiful, but it just looked like chaos.
Yeah.
And so
It is chaos.
we had someone come in and we said, okay, we want to keep this, and this,
Get rid of
and
everything
get rid
else.
of everything else. And it gives you a clean slate. Now you can add the color, you can add whatever you need to do. And, we can do that in life. We can do that in our relationships, in our marriages,
Yes.
in our ministries, in our
Give me an idea with
businesses.
ministry or with marriage. Tell me, like going through pick a season and kind of talk about that.
Well,
real
let's stay on summer.
Okay.
You're busy going, you're going and you're blowing, and you've got, your husband's working, you're working, and then in the evening you've got kids,
Yep.
or you've got your chores that you need to do, or obligations. And it's just, you're like two ships passing in the night, basically, and you're exhausted at nighttime, whether or not you have kids. I even know when all of our kids moved out of the house, I thought, okay, now's the time where we're going to
you
get to
can
slow down.
You could even get busier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's reprioritizing. Like, what do we need our life to look like?
Mhm.
I want to spend more time with you. Yes, we're physically living under the same roof, but I want more than that in our relationship.
Okay.
and just implementing what would do that. Maybe a date night.
Yeah,
Let's plan a
I love
date
that.
night. Let's say we're off the phones at 7 p.m. or
Very important.
earlier.
Very important.
You know, just things like that to
I would even say things as simple as, we're just going to sit and talk tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just
You have to.
Just
yeah.
what's going on with you? Tell me.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Yes.
And that's some of the sweetest reconnecting you can do.
Absolutely. So the seasons. So we see season. This book it can be used for marriage, for business, for personal, just where you are in life,
Yes.
and even through the losses of what you do during that time, or what you don't do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
After every chapter, I've got 5 chapters in each season.
Okay.
And at the end of every chapter, I ask them questions
Perfect.
to think about that. And then
Perfect.
I have a prayer at the end that I specifically wrote, praying over the person that had
see it.
just read that chapter, to give them clarity and
Love it.
direction. And
This actually looks that could work well with a small group.
yes. Yes.
It looks like because it's simple with the simple questions. And
Yes.
with a prayer at the end.
Yes.
And
And it has a bookmark.
Does it really?
She's thrilled about
I
the
am
bookmark.
thrilled
What's
about
the
the
bookmark?
bookmark. There's a bookmark in there.
Is it real? Oh, you do have a bookmark. That's such a female thing.
It is see, it is.
That's such a girl thing.
It
Okay,
is.
But you know
I
what?
know.
It's now going to be
But
a
I'm
thing for me
tickled.
too.
I'm tickled
there
about
we go. That's actually a great idea. Sorry, it's book people.
I know.
I like this.
Yes.
I may do that. So it's not too girly. I'm going to be using that in my
No.
next book. I
Yes.
love that. All right. So seasons. You've just given me an idea. I may use this in a
Good.
small group that we do.
Awesome.
That'd be
Awesome.
Be excellent.
I love it.
I like that.
I would be honored.
That's all
Yes.
compact. That's what I
Yes.
like about that.
I told you she's smarter than
Yeah,
I
she's
am.
smart. She is smart. Hey, I saw that at the conference. I get it. All right. So we have seasons. We'll give all the information about this book so you can go get it. But there's also something happening at the end of this month down here in the Tampa Bay area. I don't
Yes.
know if you're doing something up there also, but here, what are you doing here down in Tampa regarding seasons?
Yes, well, we're having the book launch and book signing. So I'm introducing the book publicly, and it's going to be on Monday night, July 27th from 6:30 to 8:30. It's a come and go. At 7 o'clock, I'm going to be reading the foreword of the book and just sharing a little bit why I wrote the book. But I wanted to make it a seasonal experience for people to come in. So when they come in, they're going to get a little passport. And then we've got different season setups, and there'll be a coach at each season, but also there's just different drinks. I mean, I was asking Norman the other day, what do you like to eat during the summertime? Because I know in fall, I have my favorites that I love
Sure.
to make and things like that. So we've got little goodies you can taste that kind of, bring in that season.
What a great idea.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
just
forward
want
to
them
it.
to experience
Tanya and I are
it.
definitely coming to
I'm
that.
excited, you
So
guys
it's
are.
going to be fun.
Yes.
Now, are you guys going to try to do something up north too, up in Oklahoma area?
We talked about that. I think there's a really good way to do that that seems natural. And so, yes, we've got some thoughts towards that. So we're going to do that sometime, probably, I don't know, it'll be the end of August or September, maybe a little bit more in the
that'd be
fall.
great.
But people, one of the things about Cynda, there are people in our church still that knew Cynda back then.
Right.
And so they are either they're lying to us or something, but they actually are very.
They've been very loving.
They've been very great, gracious towards us.
Yes.
So we're going to plan on doing
Good.
it.
I think that'd be awesome. Okay, so we have seasons. So this is a smart couple. So we're going to go to the next idea here, which is you are writing a book, and I'd like you to explain why you're even doing it, because it was your son that brought something up that I think is important for people to understand.
Thanks, Dave. My youngest son, it's coming up to about 5 years ago, said, "Dad, if you die without sharing the things you've learned in ministry, learned in leadership, and not share it with people, it would be a crime." That's what he said.
Wow.
And so I started coaching men shortly. That's a whole different story, how God opened up that. But
we're going to talk about coaching too. So
okay,
let's go with the book and then we'll go to coaching.
Jeffrey's been, he's my funny son, plays it off, but he's, for Father's Day last month, he knew I was coming for a month. He got me a journal. I journal on other things. Got me a brand new journal. He got me sticky notes. He got me markers, and he got me pen, and he just gave it to me, which is his way of saying, "Get it done, Dad." That's what he was saying.
Here are the tools. Do it.
That's right, and he's been persistent. And so, anyway, I wrote 2 chapters. It's going to be a 10-chapter book at this point. I think I'm going to call it lowercase leadership.
I love that.
And because it comes from a heart of hopefully humility. Like, so some of the titles are like the blame game. Yeah. You know, people blame things, and in leadership, I can't deal with people that blame their lack of or whatever on somebody else. Yeah. So I talk about that. I talk about your first priority is your family. I talk about, in fact, it's a pet peeve. It's the gospel about showing up on time.
Yes.
Okay.
Very important.
Because it's disrespectful to others that show up on time when you're late, especially in leadership. Yeah. One of the examples I used in the book was my oldest son played high school basketball, and the very first meeting of him getting onto varsity as a 10th grader, I show up at the meeting, all these other dads, some moms, but pretty much a lot of dads on the bleachers, and they're all in suits. I wasn't, but they all were. And 3 of the coaches came out about 10 minutes after it was supposed to start, and they said, almost verbatim, sorry we're late. We had a lot going on this morning.
Oh my gosh.
And
we all have a lot going on.
I looked across the bleachers, and my thought was, none of these men had anything to do today.
Yeah, it had nothing to do.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
And so I say the very first words out of your mouth in a meeting, the first 10 words are probably the most important 10 words you're going to get out. So I talk about that. I talk playing second fiddle. My degrees are in music. I never wanted to be first fiddle. I didn't want to be first violin. I didn't want to be senior pastor. I wanted to be a great second fiddle. And what does that look like in that kind of environment? Making the pastor lifting up his good qualities, his sure qualities, but helping where he needs help.
Absolutely.
And so it's
gigantic. It's gigantic.
It's lowercase. So I'm hoping to. I've written 6 chapters since I've been in Florida. Maybe the fertile ground in Florida has been good.
Maybe.
I'm going to write 2 more, hopefully this week.
Good.
So I'm going to do that. Then I have an editor, and we'll just get after it. But then hopefully my youngest son will leave me alone.
but the fall is, you're trying to get this done by the fall.
Yes, I am.
I'm curious about that because it sounds like something that I know I could use within our church, with my church leadership.
Yep.
So to me, that I'm looking forward to it. Since I've talked to you, I went, okay, this is somebody I can learn from, and what you do to make things run smoothly as best they can. And so I'm excited about it because I could get some of my own elders, pastors, staff to look at that and go, oh, wait a second. This is something that we can take on and do. And that would be exciting to me.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks.
Can't wait to get
Dave.
that. Can't wait to see that get done. Okay. I don't know who you're going to do the cover.
Mine will not be as pretty as Cynda's book. I just trust me, Dave.
I bet it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks.
Because like I said already, 52 years in ministry is grand enough. 52 years of ministry at one church is unthinkable. And 52 years of ministry at one church as not first in command, first violin, or what do you call it, violin? But to be that second support person that does so much that the pastor could actually go do his stuff, which makes the church grow. And that's bottom line. To have that is very unusual. So I believe you writing a book with that credential will make a lot of sense
Oh,
to a lot of people.
thanks,
So it
Dave.
won't be just for senior pastors. It'll be for other people going, oh, this is what's needed. It'll be, I think, could be a support for pastors, senior pastors, to go, guys,
Yep.
we need this,
Yep.
you know?
Yes.
And at the same time, it shows the pastor go, I need this. And what am I doing? You know, why am I running myself into the ground and not really
You know, it's
letting other people do what they need to do?
It's funny. I've served with 5 pastors in those 50 years. The first pastor was a huge evangelist, gifted. Second pastor the first pastor was retired, and he led the church to be at peace.
Okay.
I cannot. The grass was green. The second pastor was an evangelist. All he had to do was fertilize that.
And it just went.
And it went. Third pastor, first words out of his mouth were, Norman, you know what's wrong with worship here, don't you? I said, what, pastor? He goes, we don't do enough of it. I said, well, we can fix that. Okay. Fourth pastor was a pastor that knew how to build from within.
Okay.
He knew. So he and I clicked.
He was a true manager. You could kind of take it and run with whatever's already there.
Yeah, he's
That's
a
gift.
good little. And my current pastor is the first pastor that I've served with that literally views the world as flat. He wants the world to know Christ. I mean, he's president of Global Action, as being senior pastor. Very gracious, very smart. But my gift works well with his gift mix.
Yeah, no
So-
kidding.
so-
My goodness. Well, so I'm looking forward to that book. That's going to be fun. I look forward to going through this.
Good.
I look forward to that just for practical reasons for me within the church setting. So very excited about that. Okay, so now we have a married couple. 2 people married long time, now are married. And you guys are, how long has it been now since you guys married?
Start of our 6th month.
6 months. So this is really...
She hasn't kicked me out yet. So
That's a good thing.
yeah, it is a
vice
good thing,
versa.
Yeah.
Dave.
What would be the biggest 2 things? The first thing is biggest challenges, because then I want to end with biggest blessings. So let's go with biggest challenges. Think about that for just a moment. What were the challenges that you have faced as a man, as a woman, coming into a relationship like this and trying to work this together? Because even though you guys are great people and your hearts are in the right places and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of history that comes in to this, that we're used to doing things, right? We're used to doing things certain ways.
Absolutely.
And
Nailed
so so let's go through that. Who would like to go first on that?
You're letting me go first. I honestly, as the woman, I think the biggest challenges is the dynamics of the family. Because when David passed away, it wasn't only we lost someone great. Our family changed.
Yeah.
How
Change
we
the whole
all-
dynamic.
Yes, how we all grieve, and it's not always the same. And I think that's been the biggest challenge of me just going, I don't know what to do or how to have this conversation. I think that's been the hardest. I just want them to know that they're loved and give them grace and space, but also at the same time be there when they need me, and so it's that has been a challenge. Even I wish there was a one size fits all and could tell you, but I have 4 adult
Oh no, there is
children.
no
They're not children, they're
Yeah.
kids, and then daughter-in-laws and a son-in-law and everything. So I think that's been the biggest challenge. I just want to do that well. But we all have to go through our own
So you're saying the
process.
challenge, one of the challenges is after just the grieving process
The grieving
is different for
process.
everyone.
Everyone.
And I think that's that time-tested principle. Grieving is different for everyone.
yeah.
Right.
And if we
Yeah.
come into that knowing that,
Yeah.
right?
And I
So
never knew it.
Every person in the family, and that includes in-laws, that includes your parents, that
Yes.
includes
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
And so you have that big challenge of working through that grief. Then you guys end up seeing each other and end up getting married and saying, hey, we're going to get married. And I'm sure out of that group of grievers, with all the grievers there, I'm going to assume on both sides.
Oh,
of
absolutely.
course.
You're gonna have people that are gonna go, oh, that's awesome. Like myself, when you said it, I went, hey, man, that's great,
Yeah.
But I know that others would be going, whoa,
Sure.
hold on.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And they're still working through the anger of why was he taken, and now you're going, Mom.
Yeah. And I'm living 2 months in Oklahoma and 1 month
Yes.
here. So,
Yes.
that's I moved all my life, but I think just not being available to hop in my car and run over to the kids' homes or the grandkids or things like that. But we're just trying, you take one step at a time, one day at a time. You try to I want to be sensitive to their needs. And there's always been a conversation between us. If you ever need to just drop what you're doing and fly out there, then we can do that. And I'm very grateful for that. So,
Well, I
yeah.
So you would say the grieving process from everyone, not just yourself,
Oh,
would be
absolutely.
probably one of the biggest
Well,
challenges?
I would say, and absolutely, is when we first started reconnecting, there was a marker in the road. If our families blow up over this, we're not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Can't do it. Can't happen.
can't do
Yeah.
it. And so we both talked like we're not pretentious, like it's going to be easy, but
Yeah.
that was a deal. I do think too that the thing that you either say life is over, okay,
Which is easy to do.
is easy to do, maybe even in one way simpler to do.
Very.
Okay. And but she is so gifted. I mean, the book came in this last weekend. I mean, she gave birth to her 5th child, which was this book. Okay. But I say I couldn't be more thrilled. I think I'm more thrilled about the book coming in than she is.
Right.
I'm so proud of her, thrilled for her. It's the right thing. I'm so glad she did it. She paid the price to do it. It's going to bless a lot of people. And so I can rejoice in that. And I want her kids to see that the guy that they're just getting to know really loves their mom and supports their mom. Okay. And I'm with all my heart, I mean that. So that was a deal. The travel, that was another
Big travel.
Okay.
Yeah, big challenge.
Big. And so we've worked out kind of a schedule like she talked about, but we're very flexible with that as well. Okay. We're able to do a little bit of that. So, but it's going back to that prayer as a 17-year-old, Lord, whatever you want me to do this week, I promise you I'm going to do it, and I can't get away from that.
Yeah.
So,
So the challenge. So what's the biggest blessing?
The biggest blessing.
Biggest blessing.
The biggest blessing.
Because we got to look at the blessings.
No, absolutely, is that God knows. God knows. I believe that he knew years ago. I
of
believe
course.
that he was watching and orchestrating, but the biggest blessing is that I don't take a day for granted. I've completely see life different, and I've always been very positive and thankful person, but you just don't take a day for granted. You don't take the little things that you automatically knew that they were always there, they're always going to come, or text messages or hugs or just whatever, just even life being the same. I just don't take that for granted. And I'm thankful every single day for I'm thankful for David. I'm thankful for our family, the things we got to do together. I'm thankful that God just says you're not done, and I'm still in your quote, but that God has told me you're not done.
No. Well, I mean,
This
book kind of tells you that.
And that he has more, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that have lost a spouse, and the more doesn't mean that there has to be somebody to fill that more. But whatever that is, know God has more for you. He's got more life. He's got plans for you. And so don't ever give up on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
What
a
about yourself?
blessing.
And I'll just go back her voice. Her
That's okay.
voice.
That's what we do this live.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe my son. So
Get your book done.
yeah, gosh, but it's
I love that.
Cynda's voice. Blessing. It is a it's brought a solid ground back to my feet. Okay, and so I'm doing things that I really probably wouldn't be doing. So that in itself says that God has something in store. So, but and not every guy's going to be like that. I have to tell you one. That's the blessing. I'm going to tell you what the blessing. Let me tell you about the fear that happened. I was in church at our church, and a lady came up to me and wanted to pray for me.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But she took me by the hand and pulled me outside the doors
Oh.
to do that, and it caught me off guard. I went out there and I thought, and so thankfully it was a short prayer, and I went back inside, and my guy friend, who's a former thug, I told him, I said, don't you ever let a woman take me outside these doors.
Nope.
Okay. And I can't speak for all men, but that wigged me out.
Well, I mean, just men are men, so there's a temptation that's always going to be there for one, and you can't put that in front of you at all.
No.
Joseph,
He ran.
run away.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
That's what I felt like. But with her and the people that my church know, people here know, we are a couple. It goes back to covenant. I told both my boys this. You loved your mom.
Yep.
I loved your mom. I was in a covenant relationship with your mom. You guys knew that.
Mm-hmm.
She went to glory.
Mm-hmm.
One day we'll see her again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I'm in a covenant relationship with Cynda.
Yes.
So boys, whatever you think, you hear your dad.
Yeah.
I am in a covenant relationship.
Yes.
And I'm making that a marker for them as well. So I feel in covenant, I like her voice. I like what she says, her thoughts. So that's the blessing for me.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, too, for being here with us. And remember, seasons, need to go get this book. And if you can make it on the 27th, be there on the 27th, and we'll put down the notes.
Great.
And then your book again is going to be?
A lowercase leadership.
Lowercase leadership. I love that. That's going to be good. I can't wait for that to happen. When that's done, come back down here. We'll do another one of these. Okay. And we could talk about
Thank
that
you.
and how that relates to, because you've been in leadership too. So I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are on that. Thank you guys again. Every day can be your favorite day. Remember that. Matter of fact, why don't you start the day by saying, today's going to be a great day. And that'd be a good thing to do today. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts alone. TIMFD is produced by the awesome Alex Korn. And until next time, have a great day, stay grateful, grounded, and growing in Christ.